Everyone knows that Akamai has the biggest and baddest content delivery network with hundreds of thousands of servers all over the world, one router hop away from just about everybody on the planet. We also have solutions ranging from media delivery, live and on demand, to web performance and security solutions. So it's a very broad product set and feature set. But it has a bit of a reputation for being hard to set up. My name is Jay Sicklin. I'm a product manager at Akamai, and in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to set up Akamai, and it's actually not as hard as you might think. So for this little demo here, I am using a little website of my dog Leo, who is the world's best dog, and it's currently not on Akamai. It's just a web server on hosted on Amazon EC2, and doesn't have a lot of content, just a picture of Leo. And but it's so for this scenario, I'm gonna try to protect it with one of our Akamai's web security solutions and deliver the content through Akamai as well. So so that Leo's website can be protected from bad guys on the internet and be faster, and make sure the cats don't hack his website. So let's go over to Akamai's website. I'll go to the homepage here, and from here you can start a free trial. And I'm gonna try one of the security solutions we have. We have a lot of different trials you can sign up for, but the one I'm gonna use is the Web Application Protector trial, which comes with the Web Application Protector security solution as well as the Ion or Dynamic Site Accelerator web performance solution. So clicking on this free trial, once I fill out the form here, I will eventually get an email, and I've cheated a little bit here, set up the account ahead of time. But you get the email, and from there you can click on a link, and it will, once you get past the login, which I already did the password reset and all that good stuff, so I don't have to do it again. But once you do that, you will be thrown right into the setup process, and my single sign-on is kicking in, which I don't really need to do right now. So I'm going to set up Leo's website on Akamai here. So let's go through this. So the website is www.spoion8.fun. And first, the system will check my website and find out if it exists in DNS, and if it has a certificate that's valid and all that good stuff. And then it will proceed to give me some instructions here in this first step of the wizard. And the one thing to note here is that part of during the setup process, I will need access to DNS. Now, typically you can use your own DNS, whatever DNS provider you're using. You just need access to create DNS records. And now for this demo, I'm using Akamai's own authoritative DNS solution, which you're free to try as well. It's a free trial for that as well if you do that. So let's see. So I'll proceed here past this sort of intro screen. By the way, it also shows me what's going to happen to my traffic during this process. Shows me the traffic before I start, where my end users are going straight to my origin server. That's my web server. And then after setup, you'll see that the end users will hit the Akamai Edge platform, and then the Akamai Edge platform will then reach out to the origin server only when needed, when it needs to fetch fresh content. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Step one is the what we call the core CDN settings step. So this is where we collect some information about a few things that we need, like the origin server and certificate and cache settings. So I'm going to start with the origin server settings first. You can see here that it has suggested an origin hostname for me based on my current website. So I need to create this record here in my own DNS. And so I'm going to switch over to Akamai's. I'm going to open up a new window here so I don't I can keep this wizard running. I can also get back to this wizard if I exit out of it, and it'll pick up right where I left off if I want to. But I'm going to open up a new browser window and then go to our authoritative DNS solution, and there's the DNS zone for my website, and I'm going to create a new record for this origin hostname, and I copy and pasted that from the setup wizard. I'll give it a 300 seconds. Now I've got to go back to the setup wizard to get the IP address, and this is the IP address that it detected from my current web server. So, but you can of course put in whatever IP address or addresses that you want, as long as it's a valid web server that we can reach. And I'm gonna go and activate that DNS record. And usually it takes just a few minutes, but while that's progressing, I'm gonna go get something to drink. All right, let's see if this thing has completed. Looks like it's active. Just for fun, check it, see if it exists. Yep, and there it is. So it exists now in DNS, and I can proceed with my setup. So I'm gonna click the validate button to have the system reach out to this origin, make sure that it's responding and it has a valid certificate and all that good stuff. So you can see here that it succeeded. I could set up multiple origins here, like if I wanted my static content to be pulled directly from an S3 or Google Cloud Storage origin, I could do that. In this case, I just have a very simple website, so it doesn't have multiple origins. So I'm just going to set up this one. And then I'm going to move on to the certificate section. And now by default, we will create a new certificate for you, unless you already have a certificate with Akamai that already has this host name on it. If you have, then we will suggest that you reuse that existing certificate. But in this case, we are creating a new one, and the thing I have to do now is I have to go back into DNS and create another DNS entry to validate that I own this this DNS zone, so that I can get the certificate issued. So I'm going to go through the same process that I did with the origin and just create another record here. So I'll go right back here, add another record. In this case, it's this guy. Akamai challenge. A little bit hard to see here, but should be fine. In this case, it's a TXT record. And I need to go back to the wizard here for the secret to validate that I own this domain. And there it is. Make sure there's no extra spaces or anything crazy like that. And add that to the change list. And then I gotta go through the activation process again. But, it only takes a minute or two. So while that's pending, I'm gonna take another break. A sip of my chilled beverage here. Oh, and look at that. It's already active. So, and I have my certificate domain validation entry. Again, I'm just gonna, I guess I'm paranoid. I'm just gonna double check that it exists in DNS. And, oh, I gotta do yeah, I gotta, I guess, do dig txt. Yep, and there it is. There's the entry. So, all right. So far, so good. Let me go back to the wizard here. So you have to step in and out of the wizard a couple of times, only because of the DNS stuff, which not much we can do about it. You're gonna have to, branch out and go to DNS and add these entries. So I'm gonna click on validate here. It said, certificate is ready to go. So we detected the DNS entry, and we can continue on. This is the default cache settings. These are pretty commonly cached file extensions, and we also by default will respect any origin cache control headers or expire headers that you may be using. But I'm not gonna change any of these cache settings now. You are, after you set up, after the setup, we will guide you into the full configuration tools where you can, change hundreds of different things about caching and other acceleration features that we have on Akamai. So this setup wizard here just shows you a couple of basic things that you can change, but you can get into all the other fun stuff after the setup. Now in step 2, now we have the web application protector settings, and here we also give you pretty much everything just default, and we'll guide you into the web application protector user interface after the setup is completed. But we'll set you up with all the basics here so you can get started. Step 3, so this is your sort of final chance to take a look at what you have, and if you want to make any changes, this is the time to do it. But I'm going to go ahead and click on activate, and that's going to start the process of pushing all these configuration settings out to the Akamai platform. So including the certificate, the core CDN settings with the Ion performance product, and then the web application protector security solution. So that's all going to happen. This process, takes a few minutes, maybe as much as 30 minutes, especially for the certificate. So I'm gonna go and take a little bit longer break and then come back here when this is all finished. But the cool thing here is that everything happens in one session. I don't have to keep coming back. Once this is complete, then my setup is done, and I can then move on to the last two steps of the onboarding wizard, which go into sort of testing and verifying, making sure everything is good, and then go live, which entails CNAMing my traffic, pointing it over to the Akamai platform. So, taking a break here, and I'll be back in 20 some minutes. look at that. So the whole process is complete. Actually, it took only like 10-15 minutes. So we are not done. All the setup is complete. The settings for my website, the certificate, the ION performance and core CDN settings, and the web application protector security settings have now all been pushed out to the Akamai Edge platform, and they're sitting there ready to go. But you can see that over here on the diagram on the right that all end user traffic is still going straight to my origin. So nothing has really happened to my traffic yet, but all the Akamai Edge platform is now ready to serve my traffic. So going on to the next step, and this is when I'm given instructions on how to test my website. And this can vary quite a bit from website to website and application to application, the actual testing steps. So you just have to perform the regression test that you typically perform, mostly using a web browser and try performing the different functionality of your website. But the way you need to do it is you need to, in order to get to an Akamai Edge server, you need to put in an entry in your local host file. And we've given you an example, or we've given you the host file entry to put in here. So I'm going to copy that. I can also click on the copy link here. And then I'm going to open this file, since I'm on a Mac. I'm going to open this file called etc hosts, and I'm going to do it from my command line here. So I know it requires sudo access, so etc hosts, and there's the password. Okay, so a lot of times some companies control whether you can access this file or not. And so you may not be able to edit this file, or even if you are able to edit it, it may be overridden by some firewall or a security system in your company. If that's the case, you may need to kind of disconnect from your corporate network. You maybe use your cell phone as a hotspot, or possibly even test from a home computer that's not as locked down as your company computer. But in my case, I'm not locked down, so I can put this entry in my local host file, save it, and then you can immediately test the website through Akamai. Now, to verify that I'm actually going through Akamai, first I'm gonna, we recommend just closing your browser and starting it up again, just to get rid of any DNS cached. So I'm gonna, for Chrome, there's a little extension that will let me do that, clear my DNS without restarting. So I did that here. There's also a plugin that I recommend. It's called an extension for Chrome, called the Akamai debug headers, which I have already installed, and that allows me to see whether the request is actually hitting an Akamai Edge server or not. So here is my web server, my website, Leo again, and I'm going to go view developer and developer tools. And I'm going to go ahead and click on, I'm just going to refresh the website. You can see here it made three requests for the home page, and then the image, and then the favicon.ico. So I'm just going to look at the picture here. and look at the headers. And these headers are when I'm using this plugin, it will pass to Akamai these debug headers, and then in response you'll see a bunch of debug headers coming back. So this will tell me things about how this particular object was served on the Akamai platform. So you can, check on the. This is basically verifies that it was in fact hitting an Akamai server, and so that's my test. I can do other tests. This website obviously does not have any much you can test with, but there it is. So I'm gonna now say that I've completed my testing, and back to the setup wizard again, and it succeeded. Nothing bad happened, and you can see here on the diagram now. You can see how you can test going through the Edge platform that I just did. The end users are still going to the origin server as before. Now, in the next step and final step, we're now going to go live. And by go live, we mean CNAMing your traffic over to Akamai. So I need to now again do another DNS entry. And this is what we call the Edge hostname. That's a DNS entry that we give you that points your traffic over to Akamai. So I need to go back into my DNS system, and what I need to do is now in the same DNS activation, I need to delete any A records or any existing CNAME if you're already CNAMed to something else. But typically it's an A record here for your website. So www.spowapion8.fun, which is my Leo's website. I need to remove this record. Make sure I don't activate that right away. I need to add the CNAME at the same time. So that's going to be www.spowapionfun again. So it's the same host name, but now instead of an A record, it's now going to be CNAMed, and it's going to be CNAMed to Akamai. And it's going to point to this CNAME here. So I'm going to add that to the change list. So now you can see here that for this DNS change here, I'm removing the A record and I'm adding the CNAME record to point the traffic to Akamai. So I'm going to go ahead and activate that now. And again, it takes a minute or two. What I'm going to do while I'm waiting for that to happen, I'm going to, you see it gives me the instructions here, like removing the local host file entry that I added in the previous step. So I'm going to go back and edit my host file again, and now get rid of this guy so that my web browser will go back to looking up DNS instead of my local host file. And then I'm going to again use this Chrome extension to clear my browser DNS. Let's see how this is progressing. Okay, so the DNS change is already active. And now, how fast this actually happens for all your end users around the world depends on your original DNS time to live for your original DNS entry. And I believe mine was, because I deleted it now, so I can't actually see it. But I believe the original DNS entry for www.spowapion8.fun was 1800 seconds, so it's a little longer than I wanted. So that's how long it's going to take for for everything to take in, to go into effect for all users to be directed to Akamai. So if you set it to a shorter period of time, like we recommend at the beginning, 300 seconds, a couple of minutes, then your go live will take effect quicker. So I'm gonna just here click on this button to check for the CNAME, and we detect that you have in fact now sent your traffic over to Akamai, and congratulations, you are live. And so now you see the diagram over here on the right now showing your end user traffic being directed to the Akamai Edge platform, where all the fun stuff happens. The core CDN settings, the ION performance settings, and then security settings are applied. And then we go to the origin server only when we need to fetch content that's not cached. So that's about it. Now you're basically done with the setup. So that didn't take that long at all. And you're now live. What I can do here at the bottom of this last screen here, you can see a few links to make further changes. And obviously, this initial setup is just the start of the journey here. You want to go into the Web Application Protector to configure your firewall settings in more detail. I'll open it up in a new tab, just so I keep this link handy here. So here's the user interface for the Web Application Protector, where you can add all IP blocks and DDoS protection, and turn it from by default we set everything up for alert mode, so it'll not actually block any traffic right away, but rather it will start logging suspicious traffic, and you can go into the UI to look at traffic reports and security traffic reports, so you can see whether you have any bad guys trying to attack your website, and then you can use this UI to turn on protections in what we call block mode or deny mode. You can see here everything is set up to alert for now. So that's it. So that's the security settings. You can also edit the what we call the core CDN performance settings in this user interface called Property Manager. So that's, you can see here that we have the version that's live on the platform. Here is this first version, and then we've created a version 2 for you that's inactive that you can start to edit if you want. So you click on that, and in here you can now configure all your performance settings, and so it will be things like caching and things of that nature. And there's tons and tons of different options that you have here, but that's for you to explore over time. And that's it. All done. Website is now on Akamai and should be performing faster and be secured. So that's it.